PointyStarVio here, and we're doing a deck profile for Ghostrick. It's a special update because this update's actually using the Phantom Knight engine. I purchased the cards because I had actually gotten a random pack and pulled one of them, and I thought, this is interesting, it looks like it could work in like a rank 3 engine, and I thought Ghostrick did a really good job of that. And so I looked up the cards online, tested around with a build, and bought all the cards. And then the very next day, all the cards went up in price. So I sold one of the cards I had, and I'm planning on rebuying that card soon. But I'll show you the deck profile as it is now. Starting off, we've got the kind of standard 3 Giganchi. I feel like this card's very important because even though it's slow and that you have to set it, you can set this card going first, and you can search for a card to keep on the field for other combos, and just it searches and it kind of stays on the field. 3 Mummy, keeping the kind of turbo feel to it, and 1 Skeleton, rounding off the level 3s, because the goal is to try and swarm as many monsters on the field as possible. And if you have the right cards out, you can really kind of get a lot of swarming and OTK kind of feel to the deck. We're running 0 level 2 monsters in this build because even though the level 2s are good, and I've come to really like cards like Doll, in this variant we're trying to stick it strictly to the level 3s and support for the level 3s. So we're running 2 Spectre, 2 Mary, and 2 Lantern. The Spectre is for when a level 3 dies, and if she gets attacked, you can, when she dies, summon the Spectre, draw, and have a field presence. And then Lantern/Mary to make it so you can make rank 1s, as well as Mary, when she dies, summons out a level 3 from your deck, allowing for combos and such. Alright, moving on to the next card. We have the actual Phantom Knight cards. We have 3 of this guy. His first effect is you can buff a dark monster, but the real important effect is you can, when he's in graveyard, you can banish it to add any Phantom Knights card from your deck to your hand. 3 of her, if you have a Phantom Knights monster out, special summon this one, and then, so you can only special summon the Phantom Knights once per turn that way, and then you can make an Exceed because she's level 3. And 3 of this guy, which says, if you Exceed with, him, and I think it just says another, if you make a dark Exceed monster with him, mandatory effect activates if you can make that monster suddenly gain 1000 attack, which is really cool because it allows different Exceed monsters like Alucard to actually become the beater that the deck really needs, and you can attack over things. All of these guys can be normal summoned, and this guy says when he's banished, send a Phantom Knight to the graveyard, and she says when she's banished from grave, so you can banish themselves, excuse me. So he's like, I can banish myself. When you banish her, you can send a spell or trap card to your hand, I think it is. So each one of these is really strong, especially if you can get them in the grave and such. So that's why in my pure Phantom Knights build I'm running is like a Phantom Knight Lightsworn kind of thing with like E-Telly and stuff. But you know. Spells. 2 of the field spell, just because it allows for a different kind of OTK using just Phantom Knight and the other engines to pull out Alucards and Dork Lords, just kind of allowing for OTK-like feels. Then we have Allure of Darkness, because you can draw, get to the cards that you need the most at the time. Book of Moon and Swords of Concealing, just kind of as spot removal stuff. Very good for the deck, I feel, and Swords of Concealing is there. Swords of Concealing goes to special pile over here, and I'll explain that in a minute. And then we're running 1 Foolish, 1 Rhoda. Rhoda gets to your cards, because these guys all just happen to be warriors. And then Foolish lets you put them in the graveyard for free effects, or if you really need it, put different Ghostrick cards in the graveyard for Alucard. Then we have our trap cards. 3 Quaking. It's really, really good, especially because Alucard is a card allowing you to just get free pops on monsters. If your opponent attacks in with a full board, you can literally just sit there and win by attacking with the weakest of monsters over it. 2 Ghostrick Break, 2 Ghostrick Scare, 1 Vanish, 1 Knight. Knight is kind of useless in a sense that if you don't have the Scare, Knight's not that important. So these 2 cards can also go over here if you wish. Though I do like to keep the 1 Scare at least for just kind of free clears plus searches on the opponent's turn. Then we have the Phantom Knight's Traps. 3 Fogblade. This card is a searchable Fiendish Chain, which is why I love it. 1 copy of Wing and 1 copy of Sword. So what each of these cards say, so this one buffs a monster and once by 800, and if a monster would die you can destroy this instead. And Wing says it gains 500 and also the first time it would die, you can destroy this card instead. When these cards are in the graveyard, you can banish them, and then special summon from your graveyard a Phantom Knight's monster, which makes them all just kind of really good. And the last card you can run is Crush Card Virus. I'm only putting this in there because 99% of the deck happens to be trigger. I'm talking like the only cards that cannot trigger this card are these four, you know? Everything else can trigger Crush Card, which makes it pretty viable as a card in the game. The only problem is, if you're facing very specific decks, they can foolish 3 cards. But in most situations, this card's actually pretty strong now. But this goes in the little 4 cards. I believe this deck is 44 cards. It might only be 43. But if it is 44, these are all 4 cards that you can suggest or consider removing. Knight, because the deck has kind of tried to move into a faster turbo when we run those cards. The Phantom Knight cards. Crush Card's just there because it's good. Scare, you don't need... If you don't run 2 Scare, you don't need the second Knight. And Swords of Concealing Light is also, since we're not focused on that going directly, you don't need those things. But they're all interesting cards that we run anyways. Alright, now to the extra deck. So we're running 2 copies of Dolhan because we are only running 6 level 1s. And so the goal there is we have to only need 2, and they recycle themselves if you need it. So they're just there when you need it. And we're running 3 Alucard. So Alucard is kind of an important card in the sense that it's the level 3 guy engine. He pops face down cards kind of running with that theme of Ghostricks that are going on. And the engine just kind of searches. But the main things that you're using this guy for is he can pop a face down card and then you can turn him into Angel. Angel's a 2k beater that can search for the traps that are Ghostrick card. Traps and spell that are Ghostrick oriented. Which is very interesting. Next we are currently running... this is one of the cards I'm missing. I have only one, but I'm going to be getting a second Phantom Knight. I also have this card in here just kind of as a if for a third Phantom Knight. So this guy is basically, once per turn, detach a material, target 1 card in each side of the field, and then destroy it. So you can target himself. And if he is destroyed after he is successfully summoned, you can target 2 Phantom Knight monsters with the same level, and I believe they have to have different names. Let's double check. Nope, it can be the same name. It just has to be 2, and then you can summon them back from the graveyard with 1 more level and make them summon them back to the field as level 4s, but then you can only summon darks, which is why I'm currently running Thanatos. He's okay. So his effect basically states during either player's turn once per turn, if they activate a monster effect, you can detach, or it's just he becomes immune to monster effects basically. You can run XYZ Rebellion Dragon. I couldn't find mine, but I've been running this guy online anyway, so I figured that was fine. As well as you can also run like Key Beetle and stuff, but it's okay to have 1 or 2 of those in the deck. For the last one I'm really running, for last level or rank 3 I'm running Levia the Sea Dragon, just because a lot of stuff ends up banished in this deck, so running the Leviair is really good. The last 2 cards I'm running, I know it's downwards. They're actually supposed to be Dante's. I'm waiting for premium gold to purchase them. Dante's cool, especially in the other variant, which is literally just a Dante Turbo. But in this deck, you can run 2 Dantes, and once you summon them, you can start milling things. You cannot make Dante with the, where is he? The Ghostrick Mummy. But if you're using the other cards, you can just make a Dante, mill stuff, make another Dante, make Alucard or anything. And it's an OTK-based card. So the Dantes are good. And I know I don't have them here, but I really wanted to get this profile out for you guys. That is the Phantom Knight Ghostrick deck profile. I know you guys have been waiting a while for an update, and I didn't want to update with a profile you guys had already seen a million times, because there's really, I feel like there are very few things I can do to innovate upon the old Ghostrick list. There are a few things that I really could if it was really required, but I will not be uploading a profile of that until I have something new that I can work with. This Phantom Knight build is the closest thing I got. It's kind of cool that the engine's getting popular, but not the best because I'm afraid cards might get hit, like the Dante or something. But this is Ghostrick Phantom Knights. I hope you enjoyed this. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and all that. And as always, have a wonderful day. Yeah.